so,
You want me to talk about it?
yeah, I'll let you go.
Good morning. Pavement marking, we have not got to yet, and it's been an interesting year because of the weather conditions. When we started out thinking that we would be done way early, and now the weather's essentially postponed and contributed to a lot of delays in that sense. But, yeah, our pavement marking, the materials have all been delivered, excuse me, and we're just waiting for a spell of dry weather, warm weather, we can complete that annual maintenance contract.
Maybe next week.
Fingers crossed.
Our gravel surfacing contract, of course, is completed. They finished up the end of June. DLL Excavating was the contractor on that. It seemed to go well. Everybody seemed pretty pleased. Our calcium chloride and Durablend applications are still underway. They are working around the weather as best they can. We have quite a few roads completed, but there's still more, excuse me, especially in the southern half of the county that they're working on. They're actually out there working on that today, so, as well. We're expecting, excuse me, we're expecting that work is completed within the next 2 weeks, so. Our bridge over the Crow Wing River on our county state aid Highway 13, that federal project is essentially complete except for some final cleanup, some detailing on the rails, and they've got some washout repairs on the inslopes for turf establishment, so we can, hopefully, we get the grass growing on that site to a suitable level, and we can final out that contract with Redstone, so.
Is the detour still up, or are people able to drive through?
They can drive through, the detour's actually down.
Okay.
And on a side note, I did, excuse me, hear from the Wadena County engineer last week that their bridge south of Hubbard on their County State Aid Road 23 will be open for traffic before the 4th of July. So it might actually be open right now if they had all the traffic control picked up. And we get a few calls and people stopping in and they don't realize it's actually south of Hubbard County, but close enough, we're guilty by association, so. Our County Road 7 project with Anderson Brothers last year is all completed now as far as the turf establishment goes, so we're just in the process of finishing up the final contract paperwork with those folks. Thank you. I swallowed wrong or something. We do have our 2 box culvert projects. One of those is on County State Aid Road 24, and one is in Mantrap Township. We've got those projects set for a bid opening.
On July 31st.
July 31st, yes, that's correct, okay. And we'll hopefully get those awarded. We got a little bit of right-of-way to finish up, but that's all moving forward. And that would be fall construction and in those 2 locations, so. And then we're waiting for our final plan approval on our federal culvert lining project, and hopefully we'll get that going this year yet. And my understanding is Cass County's gonna be advertising for bids on their.
Yep, they signed the plans last week on their project, and they should be out soon, within probably a week, advertising for that project. And
That's on the Howard Lake Road, right on the East County line, south of Trunk Highway 34, so. And then our County Road 6 projects, from County Road 15, just the south edge of Park Rapids, to Trunk Highway 87, and then from Trunk Highway 87 in Hubbard to the South County line with the Anderson Brothers. Those projects, we've got pre-con lined up for the middle of the month, and their intention right now is to get going first part of August with construction on those 2 projects. So hopefully that all works out well and swings into position with the Trunk Highway 87 contract, and doesn't tie up traffic too much, so.
Do you know if Anderson Brothers is also the contractor for the Trunk Highway 87 project?
That's what I understand,
Okay.
yes.
yep, they are.
So, that's all I have, unless there's questions for us.
Yeah. going on, just wanted to update everyone.
So I actually emailed Andrea because I was driving on County Road 40 and noticed, that there needed to be striping. Are you gonna do a lot of striping on county roads, or is it just a few?
No, there's actually quite a few roads that have striping this year, and there's center lines and edge lines. And then the next 2 years, we have district-wide jobs where we're doing like HSIP dollars, where we do the 6-inch edge line striping too. So there'll be a lot of striping happening in the next 3 years through the county.
So if you get any complaints.
Yeah, yeah, it's coming. We're just waiting on the contractor to get going and start. And
Did we have any storm damage significant?
no,
this?
there's some, we had some damage on County Road 4, but off into the back slope of the ditch,
Oh.
a washout there, but we were waiting on utilities to move their lines. Otherwise, just very minor. We were lucky, very lucky.
Very lucky.
Just minor washouts along, some road ditches and whatnot. Yeah, other counties, not so much.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what you did on 44, but whatever you did, it seems to be really good now.
Oh, okay, perfect. Good. Glad to hear that. Yeah, that's all. We're keeping
All right.
cruising, so.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
This is the earliest we've ever asked you for an administrative report, I think.
It could be a new record. The only 3 updates that I have are that I attended the HRA meeting, special meeting last week on Monday, when they reviewed the letter of termination from HRDC for management services. And had conversations about what that was gonna look like, and at the same time, of course, we're having the committee meeting to investigate the countywide EDA process. That meeting was Wednesday last week, and we are waiting for the final report from the comments from that committee meeting to be distributed back to the committee. My hope is that I would have that final committee report available for the work session next week, and that we'd be able to have a conversation about that. Kind of pieces of the HRA, HRDC thing is that I did offer to support in ways that I can Kathy in getting the financials and the 23 audit completed. And I'm still waiting to hear from her on that. I have not, I won't reach out to the audit company until she asks me to reach out to the audit company or tells them to reach out to me, so. Just waiting to hear on that and to close that up. And then we had a big walkthrough on the jail and government center project, week and a half ago now. Walked through with the construction manager and the architects. We're working on getting the conditional use and variance permits into the city of Park Rapids. And I did get the letters out to the individuals, the properties, the adjacent properties, and have actually talked to both of the property owners about that. So I think that we're in a position where they understand what we're doing, and not having some ideas that we're doing something that we're not. So, as a matter of fact, Scott went with me yesterday to go talk to one of the residents, and we had a good conversation, and I think we got there at a good time, because everybody that needed to be involved in that conversation was there at the time. So, other than that, those are the reports that I have, unless people have additional questions. There's just a lot of stuff happening, and I'm hoping we're gonna put a bunch of it. I anticipate the July work session, we've got the 2 items on here that are listed. I would like to be able to add the EDA committee report to that discussion, and I'd like to get a jump on board priorities for the 2025 budget. Just a very quick, brief, general conversation before you see any of the reports in August. So those are the other items I would add to the agenda for next week.
And just a reminder that there's a tour at the Northern Dental Access after the work session, so.
Yep, so we'll be coordinating the time on that.
Okay, thank you, Jeff.
Mhm.
Dave, do you want to start committee reports?
I can, just a reminder, I'll be gone till late Monday next week. starting this afternoon. Heritage meeting was the other week, and all the star ratings will remain the same at 4 on all of them. 5 hires, 6 terminations. We still have 5 open FTEs. We have 19 new applicants, so we continue to work on that. We started back at the beginning of the year with 95 employees. We're up to 107, so we're making progress anyhow. And then as far as occupancy, Heritage Manor was at 19, the cottage is full at 18, and Heritage Living average daily census was 38.84. That is rising. And also the Heritage Manor, I found out yesterday, there was like 5 move-ins the last week or 2.
Wow.
So we could be close to full at the Manor by the end of July. So that's great news. Cash flow, Heritage Manor in May had a positive 25,061. Cottages, 28,087. Heritage Living Center, positive 39,929 for a combined total of 93,077. The net income for the year combined, all 3 entities, is still a positive 81,500. The net cash flow for the year is still a positive 816,518. So positive direction there, and it keeps continuing, so that's great. Any questions on that? And the only other thing I had was just to give a brief update on Heartland Lakes Development Commission, on what we've been working on in the last year, so I won't spend a lot of time talking. You guys can just see this handout and stuff, but it kind of does a little review from 21, 22, and 23, and then current ongoing activities that we're still working on. And just for your information, the things in yellow are the things that have impacted different entities throughout the whole county. And then the things highlighted in green are things that are directly to the benefit of trying to help the HRA and solve our housing issue. So you can review that on your own time, but quite a lot of things going on as we've had discussions at the board level on several of them quite often, so just thought I'd hand out that review, so.
I have one thing to add, at the last board meeting, I said I had applied for the housing committee down at the state level. And I thought it only was commissioners, but Mary had also applied, because it could be somebody else. And I am absolutely thrilled that she got the position. She'll be a great asset to that community. So,
And one other thing is, the fair's coming up, 16th,
Oh,
and there's
yeah.
always senior day there. I
Yeah.
probably got an email
we
from
did get an
Connie
email.
on that. Hopefully somebody plan on attending, Shar, or? you
I'm
guys?
not sure I'm gonna be in town, but I'll see.
Well, let me know if nobody does, because if nobody does, I'll make sure I go.
I plan on going to the fair, I just don't know what day it's gonna be.
Yeah.
That's-
I know I'm not gonna be in town.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Steve, if you can't go, let me know, I'll go. I might
Okay.
just,
And Tom might be able to go.
yeah, or Tom or Ted, 'cause
And I might, yeah, it all depends on my schedule. It's,
Okay.
as we know, like the highway department talked about, the way the winter was, looked like we were gonna be ahead of schedule, and with all the delays. I haven't cut a blade of hay yet, and,
Well, it's kinda hard to cut hay in the rain.
I mean,
Yeah, it's,
I'm gassed up and ready to go, and
Next week actually supposedly is gonna be dry.
that's what I'm hoping, and I
See.
told my boss at my regular job, I said, and she understands, I said, book lightly next week, because I might be able to get something done next week at the farm, so.
Is there a particular day of the fair?
it's, the senior day is Friday
Friday, okay.
at noon.
Check your
And usually
emails,
they
because you
ask,
should have gotten an email on it. I think she sent to all the commissioners.
Yeah, you should have an email somewhere,
Okay.
last week, I think it was.
Yep.
And
Alright,
she
I'll-
usually asks somebody to just do a kind of a welcome,
Okay.
and then we help serve food.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay, Ted, do you wanna go next?
Sure. I'll just touch on real quick what Jeff had already talked about, the HRA. We had that meeting, HRDC had canceled the current contract, and they've kind of come up with another one. I'm not sure the direction that they're gonna go at this point. I appreciate, Jeff was at the meeting, I appreciated him being there. They had some questions for both of us, and of course, then I turned around and asked them, what do they want to do? They all still want to be an HRA board and participate, in the county, but they want the help they want the county to help them. And how that's gonna look, especially if we create an EDA and we combine the two, they may not exist anymore, but that's something that's it's part of the sausage-making process right now. And the EDA, Jeff also touched on that. I thought things have gone really well on there. One of the things I had a concern about was, we talked about opting in and opting out. And we want townships and cities to have the freedom to opt out. But according to statute, a city or township may adopt a resolution electing to withdraw participation. The withdrawal election may be made every 5th year following adoption of the resolution electing participation. The withdrawal election is effective on the anniversary date of the original resolution, provided notice is given to the County Economic Development Authority not less than 90 days or more than 180 days prior to the anniversary date. So it sounds like you might have to be stuck in there for a few years, but Bruce made the comment that if the things change, so say all of a sudden, and this is the one thing I think that a township or city might want to opt out of, is if all of a sudden we decide to levy everybody. But if that's such a change, I don't remember exactly how Bruce worded it, but that might be enough of a change where they don't have to wait a period of time, that they could opt out quicker. And I hope to have that answer, because then when I go to talk to my townships and tell them the benefits that participating in the countywide EDA, then I would hate to say all the glowing things about it, and then they get into it, and then they can't get back out in a short period of time. And that's, like I say, one of the concerns. Otherwise, I think things are going pretty good. I'm glad that it is going as good as it is. Let's see, also had Mississippi Headwaters Board meeting. Let's see, of course, the normal business, we're starting to do our contract stuff. We did have one variance request in Beltrami County. Another one of those pre-existing, non-conforming lots. And they wanted to rebuild the house because the house is deteriorating, and they want to move it back and over to the side just a little bit, so it basically making it better than the current conditions, and it would have less impervious surface and stuff like that. So the boards, Mississippi Headwaters Board, one of the members had a question about the septics, which there is an alternate site which isn't usually required as far as the Mississippi Headwaters boards. We don't require that, but it's nice that they have that. We also had a discussion on the Mississippi Headwaters Habitat Corridor Program. This is a program where they look at easements and acquisitions on or close to the Mississippi. And that's where there was some question as to what do they mean by on or close to the Mississippi. This is where I've found, and we've probably seen this in other areas, where when the board, I think this was back in 2016, when they created that wording, they knew what they were talking about, but they should have defined it more. Now with the one watershed, one plans, and we talk about HUC's watersheds, if they would have said within HUC 14 watershed or something like that, it would give a defined area. Or if they were to say 2, 3, 4, 5 miles from the river, have some definite instead of on or close. So I know that some members of the Mississippi Headwaters Habitat Corridor Program had some questions about whether they were staying within those areas. So we talked about it, and we actually, in one respect, expanded it. Bob McGilvery was there from the Trust for Public Lands, Bill Penning from CWC, whatever those initials stand for. I had that written down. And Paula West, she's kind of like the program grant writer, administrator type of thing with the meetings. So it was a really good discussion. We basically changed the wording so that they could work inside any of the 8 Mississippi Headwaters Board counties. Paula, and Paula gave a nice presentation, and I asked her if she would maybe give that to the county boards. So maybe at some point later this year, maybe she could come to a work session. It was really informative. They spent a lot of money. They showed the different 8 counties. Clearwater County, they haven't spent any dollars there. I think Hubbard County was number 1, and there was only on 5 or 6 parcels. But a lot of that was like the sheep ranch and stuff like that. I didn't, but I felt like asking them if they could work in another county for a while and leave Hubbard County alone for a little bit, but it was good to see that they had when they first came up with this Habitat Corridor project program, they had goals, and they far exceeded them. They had 250% of what their goals were. So it's a program that's working. Like I say, it's Trust for Public Land, Bowser, and the Mississippi Headwaters Board, and Todd Holman isn't part of that group, but he still has some participation, and Paula West. So that was a good discussion. Then let's see, talked about creating a survey when we have, when there are events or festivals and stuff like that on the Mississippi River, which I wish we had more of it in Hubbard County, because we've only got a small section. But like Tim Terrell, our executive director, goes to a lot of those things. He hands out a survey asking, how did you find out about us? Where are you from? How much money do you think you're gonna spend? These kind of things, so that then they can give that survey to the people that were running the festival or event, and then they can give it to the county or city or whatever, so they can kind of see that they're not just an event to have a good time, but they're actually bringing economic activity to that area. And then, of course, we had a little brief discussion about increasing our funding from the DNR and also about from the counties. I don't know if that's been sent out already. Each member county gives $1,500 a year, and we're hoping to increase that. It seems like a modest ask, but that'll be coming before the board. And let's see, and I think, and then also Marcel Noyes was there, gave some stuff on what the SWCD is doing in Hubbard County. And if you guys want to look at that, help yourselves. And then also the city of LaPorte's got their 4th of July celebrations. And so Marcel kind of gave me this, and it kind of got when everything's available. And I believe that's it.
I get the SWCD in a mailing,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
I should, and I guess maybe I do too. I got so much stuff that comes across. But thank you.
Thank you, Ted. Steve?
All right, all I had was extension. The fair's coming up, of course, but then they're working through their budget time right now, so Lisa was planning on scheduling some time to coming before the board and just speaking about what they're asking for this coming season. It'll be a 3-year
Okay.
contract, so, or agreement, memorandum of understanding, I
Is
guess
she
is
on there
what it
next
is.
week?
Who's it?
Is she on the work session next week, Lisa, from Extension?
No.
And then, yeah, the fair coming up, of course. The farm family for the year is going to be celebrated on July 20th at 4 p.m. at the fair. So keep that in mind if you have time to be there. Then July 27th, there's going to be the garden stroll, Park Rapids, Nevis, and Monaga. So that covers,
Is that with Master Gardeners?
yes.
Oh, interesting. Okay,
So you can register for that through the extension.
okay, thank you. I was on the NACO call, and they were working on policy for the annual meeting, which takes place this month. And I found it really interesting that there were a lot of policies on nuclear energy.
Yes.
And very supportive from the states. And so that was interesting. Family Safety Network is working on their policies, so that was the gist of that meeting. And the Mojave meeting on Friday, they had 5,400 applicants for energy assistance. They gave out a total of $3 million. Average per household was $546. Then they did some comparisons. So the revenue in 2018 was $16,656,236. In 2023, the revenue was $22,910, or $22,910,722, and they're basically grants. And so there's been a lot of money out there to apply for. In 2019, they serviced 6,857 people. In 2023, 6,976. In housing support, this last year, they gave permanent housing support to 106 people. And there was actually an example of that, so there's a teenage couple that had a baby, and they didn't have a place to live. A friend of theirs had put them up for a hotel for a week and then ran out of money. The grandmother could take the child, but didn't have room to take the parents. So Mojave stepped in and provided a place for them. And then they're working to get stable housing for the year, plus helping them to find employment. So that was they just wrote a little note how grateful they were for Mojave. So that was wonderful to hear. They're working with helping people with car preparations. So they're helping people that don't have cars that work to get them in working order. Because lots of times there's just one or two things wrong, but they can't afford to fix them. And so they're helping with that. And in 22-23, they gave out 10 college scholarships. And the scholarships go to the kids that were in the Head Start program many years ago. And then I've followed through with them, and so they awarded 10 this last year.
Great.
Yeah. And that's all I have. Question, Jeff, on the meetings to note, I'm interested in going to the negotiation for county leaders. Do you think, the way we do negotiations here, would that be beneficial, do you think?
It's more broad than that.
It is?
It's a much more broad
Okay.
program.
You've gone through that?
I went through something similar a number of
Okay.
years ago,
Okay,
but I will do some research on it, and I think it would probably be helpful.
okay. Is anyone else interested in going to that?
It sparked my interest when I saw it was on there.
It has to be in person.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, it's travel time plus the
Yep.
day, twice.
So where's the Mitchell Hamlin School of Law?
St. Paul.
St. Paul?
Yeah. Okay. I know it's a commitment to get there, but,
I'm not on personnel, so
okay.
I don't know if it would be beneficial for me to.
They talked about it at the AMC meeting, the district one, and so it sparked my interest. I thought it'd be beneficial.
So is it, they've got here September 18th, October 9th and 30th, so I'm assuming
Yeah.
it's.
3 days.
It's 3 days,
Okay, so you
in
have,
person. Yeah,
okay. I'm glad we don't have to stay there from the 18th to the 30th.
then I wouldn't be going either. Okay. All right, is there anything else? All right, a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
I,
The meeting is adjourned. Thank you.